there's a bill in D.C. that needs to get passed, hopefully in the next 6 weeks. If that does, I think that'll give crypto a real jolt to the upside.
Billionaire investor Mike Novogratz of Galaxy Digital finally reveals what comes next for Bitcoin and crypto markets. This is based on his insider information. One of crypto's biggest catalysts is 6 weeks away, yet so many people are sidelined.
The most likely outlook, the president prematurely makes a move on the Fed, which they could target that easily by the end of the year. And if this bill gets passed, I mean, those are the two kind of catalysts I see.
And keep this in mind. Global liquidity remains in a big uptrend. This is bullish for Bitcoin and crypto. Bitcoin is a revolutionary new asset. Crypto is a revolutionary new asset class. More and more people are realizing this. As Michael Saylor says, the magic of Bitcoin, its real value, isn't in the transfer of money to somebody 10,000 miles away. It's in the transfer of money to somebody 10,000 days away, 10,000 years away. Because Bitcoin lets you transfer value easily over distance, yes, but more than that, Bitcoin lets you transfer value, lets you store value over time. Michael Saylor reminds us what so many people need to hear right now. People do need to hear this. I sent this to all my friends who I know who are Bitcoin holders. Bitcoin volatility is a gift to the faithful.
Volatility was a gift to the faithful. It scares away the tourist. It scares away the lazy. It scares away the people that are already conventionally rich, that have all the money. If you're a 20-something or a 30-something and you're willing to do the work, if you're willing to spend 100 hours or 200 hours, if you have more time than money, then the volatility of Bitcoin is a gift to you. If you have more money than time and you're arrogant and egotistical and you just pick the obvious, then if the volatility goes away, you buy Bitcoin. If people in the rest of the world knew what I know and they understood and they agreed with me, Bitcoin would go to $10 million tomorrow. And if Bitcoin went to $10 million tomorrow, I want you to think about how you would feel and how your viewers would feel, because you would lose 20 years of stacking opportunity during which you get to buy at less than $10 million. So the difference between $10 million and 100,000, that's what you give up if the volatility goes away and people start to agree with you.
But here's the thing. With Bitcoin markets looking shaky, tons of crypto bulls price predictions are being called into question. Like here, Bloomberg grills ARK Invest's Cathie Wood. Do you really still believe Bitcoin hits 1 million by 2030? She says, the more uncertainty and volatility in the global economies, the more our confidence in Bitcoin increases. It's a hedge against inflation. This is a very eye-opening response. Listen.
Are you still confident in that $1 million target for Bitcoin?
Yes, actually, the more uncertainty and volatility there is in the global economies, the more our confidence increases in Bitcoin. And one of the reasons is we've just been through an inflationary scare. We think it was very much supply chain driven. And Bitcoin is a hedge against inflation.
CZ Binance doesn't give predictions like this lightly. He is one of crypto's biggest insiders, and he sees what's going on behind the scenes, and he's now predicting Bitcoin will flip gold. Now, he doesn't give a date for this prediction. He does give a date, though, for his 500K to 1 million Bitcoin prediction. He says a 500K Bitcoin happens this cycle. I believe he's talking about what happens in 2026.
What do you think the price of Bitcoin tops at this cycle?
Again, very difficult question. Somewhere between 500K to a million, I think.
To go even further, the biggest insider, BlackRock, their CIO, their chief investment officer, just said live on CNBC that everyone has to add Bitcoin to their portfolio. Now, to be fair, this stream was actually from the other day. Irregardless, you can see the change in tide that's happening with digital assets.
What do you think the ideal portfolio is supposed to look like today? We're surrounded by investors. We're surrounded quite literally by financial advisors who are thinking about that, retail investors who are watching. I mean, what does it look like today?
Very different than the past. So maybe I'll start with the equity market. I mean, the first thing I would say, we're going through the most extraordinary technology dynamic I've ever seen before. I would stay long equities. By the way, you can buy volatility very cheaply to manage your exposure. I'd stay long equities oriented to where growth in technology is. In fixed income, income is amazing. You're still clipping 6%. Would I stay 5 years in on the curve? I'd still clip that coupon. We're extending a little bit out. And then, quite frankly, I mean, there's some interesting things to do in privates, bespoke markets. And I think hard assets have to enter the equation today. Gold, Bitcoin, things that give you a little bit of ballast in the portfolio against potential for currency depreciation.
Now, some insiders suspect that with everything getting delayed this cycle, Bitcoin should be peaking in 2026, probably Q2. Now, Raoul Pal caught some flack for his statements that I'm about to play you here, but to me, this all makes sense. I like the way that Raoul Pal just updated his thesis, but you tell me, you listen, you tell me what you think.
Why is Bitcoin sort of not wildly off to the races yet? And it's this chart. Bitcoin is basically, this is a detrended Bitcoin, and it's basically the ISM, which is the business cycle. Remember, we've always said it's the business cycle stupid. It is always the business cycle stupid. And all of these people who claim it's the 4-year cycle based around this and that, they don't understand the fundamental of what the business cycle is, why there's a 4-year cycle in everything. And we've explained it, and we'll go through it in great detail tomorrow in our Everything Code presentation. But basically, it's following the ISM. And rates have been following the same pattern. You see, rates should have come lower. They need to come lower because we need to roll the debt. We've talked about this. That's part of the Everything Code, fundamental part. And ISM, because rates are so high, has meant that Main Street has been screwed while Wall Street's made money from debasement. Earnings versus scarce assets. This is the issue that they need to solve, and they need to get rates lower. They get rates lower. Why? Why do we have an elongated business cycle that looks like virtually no other other time? It's because, and I only just found this out redoing the work on the Everything Code recently, is that in 2021-22, they actually extended the maturity of the debt from 4 years to 5 years. So that extension of the maturity of debt has pushed out the business cycle a year. The 4-year cycle this time around is a 5-year cycle. We don't know what the next one will be until we see where they all end up getting refinanced, whether it comes back to 4 because they managed to get some stuff at the long end, or whether they shorten it because everything's in the short end. We don't know yet. But this one is a 5-year cycle. And this is what it looks like. The 5.4-year sine curve, 5.4 years is the exact average weighted maturity of the debt. And it tells us the ISM should peak by 2026. We think liquidity probably peaks before that, as the rate of change of ISM changes and the rate of change of liquidity changes. Our best guess remains well into 2026, probably Q2.
Make sure you subscribe to Altcoin Daily. If you're interested in making money in crypto, subscribe to Altcoin Daily. We give you an edge daily in crypto markets. Now, the good news, since so many people think that the bear market in crypto is just beginning, we might not need to wait that long for the next leg up. The Market Structure Bill Clarity Act is about 6 weeks away from passing. Seems like everybody has forgotten about this. The government shutdown slowed things down, yes, but those in the know what's about to happen in about 6 weeks. Billionaire investor Mike Novogratz says, get ready. This is what comes next for Bitcoin and crypto. Listen.
Crypto had a great start to the year, post the sell-off, put in highs. Bitcoin got to 125, and we've had a real consolidation since then. The big deleveraging that happened a week ago, that's not good for markets, right? It wiped out a lot of market makers, means less liquidity And you can see yesterday we were down and then up 4% and then right back down. And so there's a little less liquidity in the market. It took a lot of retail leverage out of the system. And so the good news is we're less leveraged. The bad news is when Humpty Dumpty breaks, he doesn't get put together right away. It takes a few weeks and sometimes months even for markets to heal itself and regain narrative and regain momentum. I don't think anything fundamentally has changed in the crypto story. Our government continues to spend way more money than they should. And I think as long as the debasement of fiat currencies goes on, crypto is going to be seen and Bitcoin is going to be seen. But, we're in a rangy, softer range right now. And I don't see what changes that. There's a bill in D.C. that needs to get passed, hopefully, in the next 6 weeks. If that does, I think that'll give crypto a real jolt to the upside. That, and as we get closer, every day we wake up is one day closer to the Fed governor transition. And, my base case is still we get a much more dovish, malleable Fed governor than we've had in the past.